You don't become smart by reading books. No, you become smart when the world breaks you and you refuse to stay broken. You there, yes you, I can see it in your eyes. Life has already taken its turns on you, hasn't it? You've been disappointed by people you trusted, drained by battles you never chose, and betrayed in ways that still echo silently inside your chest. And yet, here you are, searching for clarity, searching for something real. Let me tell you a truth most men never hear. The world does not reward goodness, it rewards clarity. Goodness without clarity becomes weakness. Kindness without boundaries becomes self-destruction. And a man without self-knowledge becomes an easy victim in a world driven by appetite and illusion. You see, the mind does not grow in comfort. It grows in suffering. It sharpens in solitude. And it becomes fearless, ruthlessly fearless, when a man finally stops lying to himself. Perhaps you've felt it too, that quiet rage inside you, not anger, no, a deeper force. The realization that the world you once believed in was an illusion woven by the desires of others. If only men knew how often their so-called goodness was merely a tool in someone else's hands. But you are beginning to see through it. Your confusion is turning into vision, your wounds into insight, your isolation into awakening. Today I will show you 8 lessons, not motivational nonsense, not sweet comforts, but ruthless truths, the kind that fracture illusions and rebuild a man from the inside. These lessons won't make you nice, they will make you dangerous. Dangerous because you finally see people as they are. Dangerous because you cannot be manipulated. Dangerous because you understand yourself. Dangerous because your mind becomes untouchable. So sit with me. Listen closely. After this, you will not see the world, people, or yourself the same way again. Let us begin. Let me begin with something you already suspect, but perhaps never dared to say out loud. Most people do not think, they imitate. They repeat opinions they did not form, desires they did not choose, and values they never questioned. They move through life like shadows wearing human skin, reacting, copying, following, never truly thinking. You've noticed this, haven't you? When you speak a thought that is genuinely yours, truly yours, people look at you as if you've committed a crime, because you have. You violated the unwritten rule of society. Do not think for yourself. You see, independent thought is uncomfortable. It forces a man to stand alone, unsupported by the herd, and the herd hates nothing more than a man who steps outside its circle. People pretend they love intelligence, but what they actually love is conformity dressed as intelligence. The moment you stop parroting the same predictable beliefs, the moment you question what everyone else worships, you become a threat, not because you are dangerous, but because your clarity exposes their blindness. This is why truly intelligent men often feel alienated. Your mind refuses to accept easy answers. You see the cracks in every popular idea. You feel suffocated by the noise of unexamined opinions. Perhaps you felt it, that quiet discomfort when everyone around you agrees too quickly, that urge to question the very thing everyone else accepts without hesitation. That is intelligence. Not degrees, not books, not memorized facts. Intelligence is the courage to see reality without the filter of the herd. And let me give you a truth most men spend their whole lives avoiding. The more independently you think, the more people will dislike you, not because you are wrong, but because you remind them of everything they are afraid to see. You expose the laziness of their mind. You threaten the stability of their illusions. You shatter the comforting lie that they are thinking individuals. So here is your first ruthless lesson. Stop seeking approval. Approval is the reward given to obedient minds. Seek truth instead. Truth is the reward earned by men who dare to think alone. Once you break free from imitation, you stop living as an echo, and you finally become a voice. Tell me something, honestly. How many times has your kindness been mistaken for weakness? How many times have you offered sincerity to someone only to watch them take advantage of it, drain it, and walk away as if your generosity meant nothing? You see, my friend, in this world, Kindness is not always seen as virtue. More often, it is seen as opportunity. People rarely ask themselves, what is the right thing to do? No, they ask, what do I gain from this? This is human nature, not the poetic, romantic version, the real version, the one men don't like to admit. And here is the brutal truth. Your kindness is a currency, and people will spend it until you are empty, unless you guard it. Good men suffer not because they are good, but because they expect others to be like them. You think others value honesty the way you do. You assume loyalty means to them what it means to you. You believe your heart will be understood simply because it is pure, but people act from self-interest, not morality. It is not evil, it is simply instinct, the will to survive, to satisfy desires, to avoid discomfort. Perhaps you've personally felt this, the moment you say yes when you should have said no, the moment you help someone who would never lift a finger for you, the moment people treat your silence as agreement, your forgiveness as permission, your patience as an invitation to try you again. This is why intelligent men eventually grow guarded, not cold, not cruel, just aware. They learn that a boundary is not a wall, it is a filter, a way to separate those who value you from those who consume you. Listen to me carefully. If your kindness does not have boundaries, it becomes self-betrayal. You must detach your emotions from people's expectations. Stop offering more than someone has earned. Stop giving more than someone can respect. Stop pouring yourself into hands that only know how to take. Your kindness should be a sword, not a leash tied around your neck. Guard your goodness wisely, because once you understand its value, you will never give it away cheaply again. You misunderstand your loneliness, my friend. You think something is wrong with you because you prefer silence over noise, your own company over shallow conversations, your thoughts over the empty laughter of crowds. But listen closely, your solitude is not a curse, it is a signal, a sign that your mind is beginning to outgrow the world around you. You see, ordinary people fear being alone because they cannot stand the sound of their own consciousness. Their thoughts terrify them. Their inner world is a wilderness they never learned to walk through, and so they hide in noise, distraction, gossip, and the company of anyone who will keep them from confronting themselves. But you are different. You can sit with yourself without going insane. You can walk through your own mind without needing someone to hold your hand, and this is the first mark of intelligence. For every great thinker, every deep soul, every dangerous mind in history was forged in isolation, not in applause, not in crowds, not in the comfort of company, in silence, in long nights where the world sleeps and the mind awakens, in days where you feel like no one understands you because truly they do not. Dark psychology teaches us this. The more you perceive, the less you can tolerate mediocrity. And the less you tolerate mediocrity, the more the world labels you distant, cold, strange, antisocial. Let them. Their judgment is merely the echo of their own fear. Solitude sharpens a man. It cuts away illusions. It exposes the motives of others. It teaches you to observe rather than absorb, to understand rather than react. Most men drown in the noise of society. You, however, you are learning to breathe underwater. And when a man masters silence, he becomes someone the world cannot easily manipulate. Someone who thinks independently, someone who sees what others refuse to see. Remember this, solitude is not where you lose yourself. Solitude is where you finally meet yourself. Protect your alone time. It is your sanctuary, your forge, your battlefield, and the birthplace of the man you are becoming. You wonder why people react strangely when you speak honestly. You wonder why your clarity disturbs them. You wonder why truth, something so simple, so pure, feels forbidden in this world. Let me tell you why. People do not seek truth. They seek pleasure, comfort, distraction, reassurance. Truth, real truth, demands that you shatter illusions, confront your own flaws, and see the world without filters. And most people would rather live in a sweet lie than swallow a bitter fact. This is the tragedy of the human mind. It is ruled by desire, not reason. Humans do not believe what is true. They believe what is convenient, what protects their ego, what sustains their fantasies. And when you, with your growing clarity, speak a truth that threatens their comfort, they do not admire you, they resent you. Perhaps you have experienced this. You tell someone the truth about their behavior and they call you harsh. You tell someone the truth about life and they call you negative. You tell someone the truth about yourself and they call you broken. But the reality is simpler. Your honesty forces them to confront a reality they spent years running from. That is why intelligent men often feel out of place. You are not trying to be special. You are simply unable to pretend. Dark psychology teaches us that truth is a form of power, not because people love it, but because they fear it. A man who speaks truth without concern for approval becomes unpredictable, and the unpredictable man is dangerous because he cannot be manipulated through flattery or fear. But here is the lesson you must absorb. Not every truth needs to be spoken. Truth is a blade, sharp, lethal, and rarely appreciated. Wield it with intention. Choose your moments. Observe when honesty will liberate and when it will simply provoke the fragile mind into resistance. The wise man speaks truth selectively, not to please others, not to hurt others, but to align himself with reality. Remember this, and remember it well. People may reject the truth, but reality never will, and the man who stands with reality stands with power. You want too much, my friend. And wanting is the beginning of suffering. You see, every man believes he is chasing what he desires, but in reality, it is desire that is chasing him, dragging him through life like a slave pulling a cart. And a slave can never be free. The world manipulates you through your desires more easily than a puppeteer manipulates a string. You think you're making choices, but no, your cravings, your urges, your impulses are making them for you. Tell me, have you not noticed? A man who wants approval becomes obedient. A man who wants love becomes blind. A man who wants pleasure becomes predictable. A man who wants status becomes desperate. And a desperate man is the easiest man to control. This is why I say, the moment someone knows what you want, they gain power over you. Women know this. Society knows this. Your enemies know this. Even your friends sometimes know this. Desire is the hook they pull you with. But here is the truth almost no one is willing to confront. You suffer not because the world is cruel, but because you want too much from it. Schopenhauer taught that desire is an endless fire. Feed it, and it only grows larger. Deny it, and it begins to shrink, until finally you can walk through life without being led by the nose like an animal. The less you desire, the more unpredictable you become. The more unpredictable you become, the harder you are to manipulate, and the harder you are to manipulate, the more powerful you become. Look at the strongest men in history. They had this one thing in common. They needed nothing from anyone. A man with too many wants is like a fortress with too many open gates. Anyone can walk in. Anyone can take advantage. Anyone can bend him. But a man who closes those gates, who limits his desires, who becomes content with very little, that man is untouchable. So hear me, reduce your wants, cut away every desire that weakens you, build a life where you need almost nothing, because the man who needs little cannot be bought, broken, tempted, or controlled. He is dangerous, not because he has everything, but because he can walk away from anything. Tell me, have you ever wondered why you can stand in a crowded room and still feel utterly alone? It is not because something is wrong with you, it is because something is right with you. You see, my friend, loneliness is not always a wound. Often, it is a symptom of clarity. Most men live in a warm fog, thick, comforting and blind. They walk through life half awake, repeating the same desires, the same illusions, the same empty pursuits. And that is why you feel apart from them. You see through people too easily. You hear the truth beneath the words. You notice the ego behind their kindness, the insecurity behind their confidence, the selfishness behind their love. And once you see these things, you cannot unsee them. Do you know what happens when a man grows in awareness? He grows away from others, not by choice, but by nature. For the more you understand, the fewer people you can relate to. Most people seek entertainment. You seek meaning. Most people want noise. You want silence. Most people chase pleasure. You chase understanding. And understanding is a lonely road. But listen, this loneliness is not a curse. It is a transition, a shedding of illusions, a purification of the mind. When a man no longer fits into the world around him, it means his mind has outgrown it. That's why solitude no longer scares you. It stabilizes you. It strengthens you. It becomes the only place where your thoughts aren't diluted by the ignorance or hysteria of the masses. But here is the deeper truth. You are lonely because you have stopped lying to yourself. And very few people in this world are willing to live without lies. Your clarity isolates you, but it also arms you. It gives you a vantage point others will never have. You become immune to flattery, manipulation, and social pressure. You stop needing approval because you can see the emptiness behind it. So accept this loneliness. It is not the loneliness of emptiness. It is the loneliness of elevation. And remember, a man who sees clearly will always walk alone before the world eventually walks behind him. You know, there is something I learned early in life, and it saved me from countless humiliations, pointless arguments, and foolish emotional injuries. Most conflicts you encounter, most fights, most heated words, most "I will prove you wrong" exchanges are not about truth. They are not about justice. They are certainly not about intelligence. They are about ego. And the ego, my friend, is the most unintelligent part of a human being. It is astonishing how quickly a mediocre mind becomes a warrior when its fragile pride is touched. Not because it cares about what is right, but because it cannot stomach the slightest wound to its imagined importance. You've seen this, haven't you? You say something honest, they flare up. You disagree calmly, they take it personally. You remain silent, they assume you fear them. Why? Because the ego is an infant wearing the costume of an adult. It wants attention. It wants dominance. It wants to feel significant, even if it must behave like a fool to achieve that feeling. Let me tell you a bitter truth. The smartest man in any room rarely speaks first and almost never argues, not because he is weak, but because he sees the game for what it is. He knows that the man controlled by ego has already lost. He is predictable, emotional, blind, and a predictable enemy is never a threat. You see, when two egos clash, both sides lose. The only winner is the spectator who understands the stupidity of the battle. I learned long ago, if a man wants to prove himself superior, let him. If he wants the last word, give it to him. If he wants to win the argument, allow him the victory, for you gain nothing by wrestling with a fool, and you lose nothing by letting one believe he has won. Your power grows the moment you detach from ego. Not suppress it, understand it, not destroy it, control it. When insults no longer provoke you, when arguments no longer tempt you, when fools can no longer drag you into their circus, you gain a psychological advantage so absolute that people do not know whether to fear your silence or respect it. Remember this, the ego screams, intelligence whispers, and wisdom stays quiet unless necessary. Become the man who sees the conflict, smiles internally, and walks away unscarred. That, my friend, is true dominance. So you still expect life to be fair? My friend, fairness is a story told to children so they may sleep. Adults who cling to it merely continue dreaming with their eyes open. Life does not care for your effort, your heart, your purity, nor your intentions. Life rewards only one thing, the ability to see it as it truly is. And the truth, if you dare to face it, is this. The world is not designed for your comfort. It is designed to test you, expose you, and break you, until you either collapse from self-pity or rise with clarity. You become dangerous only when you stop expecting reality to treat you gently, because fairness is an illusion, and illusions make men weak. People suffer not because life is cruel, but because they believed it wouldn't be. Expectation is the enemy. It blinds you, it softens you, It makes you emotionally fragile, and fragility is the most expensive weakness you can carry. A man who expects fairness becomes angry at every inconvenience. A man who expects justice becomes bitter at every betrayal. A man who expects kindness becomes devastated at every disappointment. But a man who expects nothing, he becomes untouchable. When you stop expecting fairness, you start playing the game strategically. You stop wasting energy complaining about what should have happened. You focus instead on what is happening and how to use it. You see people not as you wish them to be, but as their actions reveal them to be. You stop trusting words and begin reading motives. You stop being shocked by betrayal and start predicting it. You stop chasing validation and begin observing behavior. This is not pessimism, this is clarity, and clarity is the highest form of power. When a man removes the illusion of fairness, his emotions stop being weapons against him. He becomes calm in chaos, measured in conflict, strategic in pain, dangerous in silence. He does not crumble when life hits him. He absorbs the blow and continues forward, because he already knew it was coming. Understand this: the world does not break the man who expects unfairness. It breaks the man who expects mercy. Drop your expectations and you will drop your suffering. In that moment, you stop being a victim of life and become the master of it. So, here you are, after walking through these 8 ruthless truths. Perhaps you feel something shifting inside you, something darker, quieter, sharper. Good, because intelligence was never meant to make you comfortable. It was meant to make you awake. Let me tell you something very plainly. Without the poetry, without the philosophy, a man becomes dangerous the moment he stops lying to himself. Not to the world, to himself. This is the essence of clarity, the kind this world does not reward with applause but with power, the kind that makes you harder to deceive, harder to manipulate, harder to break. Look at the path you've now stepped onto. Clarity leads to power. When you see reality without filters, you stop stumbling blindly. You begin moving with precision. Detachment leads to strength. When you stop expecting people to be saints, you stop being disappointed sinners. You learn to navigate them, not depend on them. Solitude leads to intelligence. When you stop fearing loneliness, your mind finally has room to breathe. You become the rare breed who thinks rather than imitates. Truth leads to freedom. When you stop sugarcoating your desires, your flaws, your impulses, you stop being a prisoner of them. These are not motivational slogans. These are weapons crafted out of suffering, shaped by isolation, sharpened by honesty, and now you hold them. The world will not congratulate you for becoming clearer. It will not thank you for becoming stronger. People will not applaud when your eyes finally pierce through their masks. If anything, they will fear you, because a man who sees too much is inconvenient, and a man who needs nothing is uncontrollable. But you did not come here to be liked. You came here to reclaim yourself. Remember this as you walk forward. You don't become dangerous by conquering others. You become dangerous by conquering yourself. And now that you have begun, there is only one path left, the path of clarity, the path of solitude, the path of ruthless self-honesty, the path of becoming untouchable.